The 2025 INFINITI QX80 is going to be basically the same for the 2026 model as well. So they're going to have an additional sport trim, but it's going to be basically the same overall vehicle for 2026 as well. But all of them have a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, 450 horsepower, and 516 pound-feet of torque, paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. You can get rear-wheel drive or you can get four-wheel drive. Towing capacity is max 8,500 pounds, and you get a 18 combined miles per gallon or 17 combined, depending on what drivetrain you have. So if you have the rear-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive, so four-wheel drive is 17, rear-wheel drive is 18. There's 4 trim levels for the INFINITI QX80 in 2025 models, and that is the Pure, which is the base model, which has a lot of features for a base model. So you can get it in rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. It has 20-inch alloy wheels. It has the Klipsch 14-speaker audio system. You have dual displays, Google built-in, wireless CarPlay Android Auto, all wireless. It has the handles that pop out, and then it has the 3D monitor system with object detection. So like anything moving around you, it'll beep at you and let you know. ProPilot Assist 1.0, which is basically lane centering and adaptive cruise control. And then you have 7 seating, and you have 8 optional. If you want an 8-seater, you can have that optional. And it has tailor fit upholstery. It's like a heated front and second row seats, tri-zone climate control, all that in the base model. Now the next one is the LUXE. And this is rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, depending on what you want. 22-inch wheels. Now it does have the digital suspension and electronic air suspension in this one, head-up display, climate-controlled, heated and ventilated first and second row seats, remote control rear seat, leather-appointed upholstery, and then it has optional the ProPilot Assist 2.1, which is the hand-free highway driving. The next trim is the Sensory, which is four-wheel drive only. Now it adds a more premium leather for the front and second row, which is the semi-aniline leather. Heated and ventilated second row seats, massaging front seats, biometric cooling for second row, 64 color ambient lighting system, which you can customize as well. And this one has the Klipsch 24 speaker reference Premier audio system. So this is a significant upgrade. The reference audio system is really good. And it has the INFINITI light patch welcome sequence, like the external lights and stuff, which I show in the night video. Frameless smart rear view mirror. So in other words, the rear view mirror also has a rear view camera as well. Has a two-tone roof with dark chrome exterior trim, 22-inch wheels. Now it has the quilted leather, semi-aniline quilted leather, first, second, and third row seating, all quilted leather. It has a rear console touchscreen for HVAC and seat control, massaging second row seats, graphite suede headliner, laser cut ash wood trim with metal inlays, a cool box in the center console, in-car camera system, so where you can, has like a camera for the inside and outside for like a dash cam. And then it has standard ProPilot Assist 2.0, which is the hands-free highway driving.
Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2025 INFINITI QX80 four-wheel drive in the Autograph trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 275/50 Bridgestone tires wrapped around 22-inch alloy wheels with a gloss gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Dynamic Metal, and this is the two-tone, so it has this kind of like a metallic metal gray finish paint, and then it has the black roof and pillars here as well, gloss black. So you can see it's quite a bit of a difference for the 2025 model. The front end has this flowing grille, very impressive. It definitely looks like a modern vehicle now. We definitely made a big step up as far as the change and the styling and the features as well. Very impressive. So it's all gloss black, kind of flowing down this grille. And then even this, the Infiniti emblem, it has this three-dimensional effect. It's also illuminated at night. Gotta check out my night video. But it kind of goes in a little bit. Has this cool three-dimensional effect. There's a camera integrated right here. There's a pretty impressive camera system with a lot of different features. I have a separate video just on the camera, which we'll be going over in this video as well. Now there is parking sensors across the front. You can see there's quite a big grill area, grill surface here, but there's some airflow here on the sides, kind of giving you the look of the width here, but also have the airflow flowing through that area and there at the bottom. Now it has a integrated dash cam, and the camera is up here, separate from the lane keep assist system camera. So there's actually a lot of cameras here in the front, sides, back, everywhere. Now the headlights are a projector system, so it's a multi-projector headlight LED system. And the headlights are located right in here. And this is a daytime running light up here, as well as turn signals. But yeah, all that's going to be going over in the night video, showing what the lights look like and how functional they are when you're going down in a dark road. Both low beams, high beams, you know, everything. Taking a look at the profile here, it is an impressive looking vehicle, and it's a large vehicle, so it really gets your attention, and like it stands out in the parking lot for sure when you're compared to other vehicles. So it has that two-tone where it has this metallic paint here, but it has all this here is a gloss black. From the windows up is all gloss black, except for the roof rails are separate. But yeah, it just has a really good job of emphasizing the length and not so much the height. So it kind of divides up the height. And with that gloss black, it does have these fixed steps right here, and body colored handles which go flush with the vehicle when you're not using it, and has the side mirrors also gloss black. So you can see this design element of these daytime running lights that kind of extend here from the front to the side, and then right in here has a little element right here, looking pretty nice. And you see the handles are flush right now, but as I walk closer, they'll pop out. And then it has the signature autograph here on the side. This is what the key looks like, and it's a pretty impressive new key for Infiniti. It has this kind of like a flat black here on the back. There's a physical key on the inside, and it's very functional, and there's a lot of settings you can go over on this vehicle. But it has remote start, lock, unlock, ability to open up the power lift gate, and a panic button. Let's go ahead and hit that panic button. It has a nice strong horn. So basically, right now I have the setting to where when it senses the key, it unlocks the doors, and when you walk away, it relocks. So as I walk up to the vehicle, it pops the handles out automatically. So that way I can enter the vehicle. Now, if I didn't have that setting to where it relocks when I walk away, I would have to, lock the vehicle. But as it is, I can just walk away and it relocks, and it will, and there we go, it'll go ahead and pull in the handles as well. Otherwise, there is a button right here to lock, a little touch sensitive button, and then there behind the handle is the sensor to unlock. There's also a physical key location right here, so you just kind of pull back and you can use the key in there. So these doors go all the way to the bottom of the vehicle, right to the step, and it has a fairly robust seal right here. So you can see the seal, and it keeps the debris and dirt and stuff from getting in the threshold area, and it meets up with this part here. And it has this burgundy black and different design elements. It also has the Klipsch audio system. You can see the aluminum, like laser cut aluminum covers over some of the speakers, and they are amazing. They look really good and sound really good. Really impressive sound system, and it's a reference system. In other words, it doesn't, it tries to give you the same clarity and the same sound as the recording. And of course you can adjust it and all that stuff. It also has speakers in the headrest that occasionally, you know, for certain driver and passenger, that kind of stuff. But yeah, very impressive sound system. And I'll have all the details and the, it's like 21 speakers, all the details about that in a link in the description, so which will be a lot of other information like the specifications of the vehicle and all that stuff as well. Now you can see right here there's like this diamond pattern to these perforations here on the door. All this is soft touch. We have these flowing lines, once again emphasizing the flowing nature, like flowing water. The controls black out when you're not, when the vehicle's off. It's kind of neat. Sometimes when the backlit illumination turns on, it's not as bright as it should be, basically, and sometimes you can't really see them that good, but most of the time they're fine. But yeah, it's kind of cool having them all blacked out. When you start the vehicle, then everything illuminates. This handle can be also used as a little storage area, and it has a rubber bottom. And this is all soft touch here. This is a hard touch, and this is a hard touch, but this part right here is a soft touch surface. And this pocket right here it's okay. It works pretty good. It's kind of shallow in places though. It does have an illuminated sill plate here in the threshold area. Lots of adjustments here for a passenger seat. Not only can you go up, down, tilt, all that stuff here, tilt the back, four-way lumbar adjustment. These bolsters right here are adjustable in and out. And they also have a massage function here. So you have a button here for this massage, which has on the driver, passenger, and the second row, which is amazing. These are heated and cooled seats. And you see the diamond pattern here, which is also kind of a quilted surface. The black. And right where it meets up with the hard plastic, it does have a cloth protecting it. A little gray piping here, contrast stitching. Yeah, very impressive seats. And there's the speakers there in the headrest, which once again are the laser cut aluminum speaker grills, looking really nice. And I love this thick pile carpet for the floor mats. Feels really good. Makes you want to take your shoes off and just kind of get comfortable and relax. Just really nice. And it cleans well. It cleans up really well as well. They snap in place. And there's a little pass-through here, which the driver and passenger can share as far as just a little stuff, put a bag or whatever in there. There's a 12-volt power supply. There's also an SD card reader right in here for the dash cam. It's just right in this area here, kind of back in there. Don't want to take it out unless the vehicle's off and the dash cam's not in use whatsoever. You want to make sure that's all off before you take it out. Okay, so this is a soft touch surface here, locking glove compartment. Felt lined as well. Pretty good size. Then we have more of that vinyl or leather. Not sure what this surface here is. Usually they have like a vinyl or on these type of surfaces. And this is once again soft, non-reflective dash there. And it does have the handle on all four doors for entry and exiting. There's also a handle up here, of course, but this handle is really handy, literally. All right. So there's the headliner, which is a simulated suede material, and a huge sunroof. We'll get to that soon. So this is the type of vehicle that is kind of tall, so the little side step does come in handy. But the amount of space you have getting in and out is excellent. I mean, you're not bumping your head or anything like that. So the only limitation as far as getting in and out is maybe the height, if you know, so the step comes in handy. Also the handles as well. For me, it's fine. It's very easy to get in and out. I really enjoy a taller vehicle than a lower vehicle. So even the back door here, the swing of the door is nice. The opening is really, really nice. Very easy to get in and out. And a lot of space, basically. And no skimping on anything here in the back door. We have the diamond quilted materials here, all soft touch, including right here. There's the pocket. There's the speakers. There's even a little ambient light strip here. I'll show you that in a night video. Illuminated sill plate back here as well. Threshold is nice and smooth. I like the way with this vehicle, some vehicles have a large hump to lift your legs over to get out, in and out. This one is just completely very easy to just swing your legs right on out. Same thing in the front. It's just a pleasure entering and exiting the vehicle. So the back seats, you don't have the ability to go up and down, but you can go forward and back, tilt the back, and then you have more controls in this little screen over here. These are heated and cooled seats as well. Has the latch system for car seats, easy to get to. There's no covers to take off or anything like that. Very impressive looking seats, very comfortable, as they should be. And it's almost a flat floor. There is a little bit of a hump there in the center. Once again, we have this really nice carpet, really impressive, comfortable carpet, and it goes all the way from one side to the other, so it's just a one piece. And there is map pockets on the back of both front seats here. They're kind of tight. I guess this is a new vehicle. You can see it has a handle back here. There's climate controls back here, as well as 2 USB charge ports, 12-volt power supply. There's this touch screen back here. We'll get to that soon. And then there is a large compartment. You can put some stuff. It goes in there quite a ways. It's felt lined. There's 2 USB charge ports here as well. Cup holders. And a little storage cubby under here. If you can see that. Not as easy to get to, but it is there. Now to access the third row, it's pretty easy. I mean, basically, there's 2 ways of folding this seat. The first one is to fold it down into like a cargo mode. But accessing the third row, you can actually leave a car seat in certain scenarios in the seat, and you press this button right here. Now there's another way to move this as well, but I'll show you how this works. Just press that, and it does its thing. It kind of moves forward. And if you have a forward-facing car seat, you can theoretically leave it in place, of course, without the child in it. So now it kind of spoons up to the front seat there, and then there is the path that you would take to enter the third row. And the third row, the seats are quite a ways off the floor, so adults should have no problem with sitting back here. You can see the buttons here. There's also heated seats back here as well. USB charge ports, cup holders, more speakers. There's the latch system for car seats here on this seat only. You can see on the other side it doesn't have it in the middle. So there's only one car seat position back here. There's more cup holders, USB ports, that kind of stuff on that side. There's a light here in the center. The back of this console, there's nothing there. It's just smooth plastic, hard plastic. But you can see the floor is completely flat right there. And like I said, quite a ways off the floor. The seats are quite a ways off the floor, so your knees aren't sticking up in the air. So now we could just press this button, and you can press and hold it for a second, and it'll go back into position. And it's fairly slow, but this is good for, make sure everybody's out of the way. Nobody's gonna get caught off guard from like a swinging seat or something. And of course you can move it back and forth here like so. Tilt the back, all that stuff. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, it has 2 shark fin antennas up here at the top, gloss black. The third brake light is here at the top of the glass, right here in the rear spoiler. It's an LED strip. And there's also a windshield wiper that swings down this way. So it kind of swings down, so it's well hidden. Looks really nice and clean. There's also right in here, the path of the windshield wiper swipes over it. Right in here is the rear view camera. Not the backup camera, which is located here, the rear view camera. And I'll go over that when we get up to the front. It's basically a rear view mirror and switches to a camera when you want to have it, a camera. The backup camera is in an excellent place, and it's in a high position, and it's in the very center of the vehicle. It's not tacked on with a tag or offset or anything like that. It's integrated. It looks nice. It looks like it's actually designed with the vehicle and not an aftermarket part. Now there's parking sensors down here, and there's also reflectors. These are not lights down here. And there is a full LED taillight system, which is fantastic, and it goes all the way. You can see lights going all the way across the back of the vehicle. Very impressive looking, very similar to the front, just impressive lights. And once again, you got to check out my night video. Under this cover, there's these little plastic tabs here, and the cover comes off, and this is where you'll find the tow hitch, the towing package. It has a 7-way outlet here, and it's fairly easy to get to, and it doesn't stick out very far. Now you will need to, have the hitch attachment on there with the ball and everything, but yeah, it's really well hidden, and it's looks like it's very well done as far as integrated into the vehicle, and it's easy to get to. Your outlet is there. You can also get an adapter for the 4-way if you need it. To open the power lift gate, you can of course use the key, or you can press this button right here, which is fairly easy to get to. Even if your hands are full and all that stuff, it's very easy. It's right there, very natural position. You don't have to feel underneath anywhere to press it. So this is a hard touch surfaces here on the inside of the door. And the camera is located behind this, the rear view camera. So it stays relatively clean. You just clean the glass on the outside of the vehicle. So if you have all the seats occupied with passengers, this is the cargo space. And you can see it's relatively small looking. It does have some tie downs here. You can also raise and lower the back of the vehicle here. Vehicle has to be on for some reason, but some vehicles are able to give you the ability to move it up, the back of the vehicle up and down a little bit without the vehicle being on. So you actually have to start it up. These buttons are for folding the seats down, these power seats. I'll show you that in a second. So we have some more tie downs here, net pocket place, tie downs here, and there is a power inverter, 3-prong, 120 volt, but it's only 150 watts, so it's very limited on what you could do with it. Now right here is a secret compartment. You probably can't notice that there's a secret compartment there. It's completely camouflaged. Nobody could possibly guess there's a compartment there, but this is a good space for putting extra stuff like valuables or something that you want to hide. You can put different things in there. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool to have like a little secret compartment that nobody can tell is a secret compartment. There's no obvious handle or anything. Okay, so speaking of obvious handles, here's a little bit more space under here. Now this just kind of like is just laying there. This floor it does have a little safety catch there, but it'd be nice if it was hinged or something. Maybe there's a good reason for that. So this is covered up on this side, probably amplifier or something. But over here, this is the front tag holder. If you lift this up, this is where you'll find the jack and the tools for the spare tire. And also the spare tire is underneath the vehicle. So as you saw in the very beginning of the video. Now, we wanted to lower these seats to add to the cargo space. So, this is kind of small back here, but let's say we pick up a box, pick up a TV or whatever, and we don't have any passengers. All we have to do is start pressing buttons here. So let's go ahead and fold down this right seat here. You press that one, it'll start folding that one. Now let's go ahead and do the second row. So now we've added, let's say we had a long box, we can set it there, added to our cargo space, while still we have passenger space. Now, if we had the car seat in this spot, we would have to do the other side. But it's very easy to choose the seats that you want, press them, and they fold down. You can also bring them back up. So let's go ahead and pull that one up, pull that one up. There we go. So yeah, you can raise and lower them very fast, very easy, and add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space, or you can fold them all down and have a wide open space back here. Lowering the power liftgate, there's two buttons. One is to simply just lower it. The other one is to you press that, it'll lower the power liftgate, but also lock the vehicle afterwards. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it locks with the vehicle. When the vehicle's unlocked, it will also unlock. And it's just a capless design, and it does require premium fuel. So just calculate that in your cost evaluation with this vehicle, because it doesn't get the best gas mileage in the world because it's so huge and all the capabilities that it has. So you can see everything's blacked out, looking pretty nice. So let's go ahead and start it up. Have the key in my pocket, press and hold the brake, and press this button. Yeah, I'm not sure that loud noise in the beginning. Every time I start the vehicle, see, it has this loud noise, and I try to turn it off, but for some reason there's no way to turn that off. It's just very loud, obnoxious, and interrupting, especially if you're trying to have a conversation or whatever, and then all of a sudden the vehicle has to interrupt for some reason. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now the floor mat snaps in place here. There's the accelerator, brake pedal, and I like the way that it has this little slider right there, so your foot doesn't get caught up on the carpet here. And then it has a footrest there, large, very comfortable footrest, plenty of legroom as well. So let's take a look under the hood. So now you can see the daytime running lights right here, and also the illuminated badge, which looks better at night, but you can see a little bit during the day. To raise the hood, there's a latch. You can actually see it because it's yellow right here in the center. Just move it to the left, lift up on the hood. Takes almost no energy to lift it up. There's insulation under the hood here. You see that. There's also seals in different places. They're in the back, they're in the front, here on the sides, partially for noise, partially for airflow. So you can see it has the, I like the way it has this white lettering here on the engine cover. A little bit of a style as well. Twin turbo V6. Battery is easy to get to. Look at the size of that thing. Huge battery. And the V6 is oriented like a rear-wheel drive vehicle, because that's what basically it is. Rear-wheel drive, and then it has the all-wheel drive system, which engages the front wheels when needed, you know. So most of the time it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle. There's insulation there on the firewall, and with the turbos, there's some heat shielding as well. You can see down in there. So this is a 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo engine, and it puts out 450 horsepower with 516 pound-feet of torque, paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission. It does have paddle shifters if you want to do that. Now it is a four-wheel drive system, all-mode four-wheel drive Infinity system with an air suspension system. All these are adjustable. And it can tow up to 8,500 pounds, and it has a Class 4 hitch. The blind spot indicator is here on the side mirror, that little triangle right there. And the inside of the driver's side door is basically just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. Do have two presets here. Power windows, all of them are one touch up and down, and they are laminated glass, so it's actually two panes of glass with an acoustic material there in the center. And the back windows, one touch down, and they don't go all the way down, and they're not laminated. That's as far down as they go. Side mirrors are adjusted here. Just pick a side, adjust with that little pad. There's also the power fold function. Press that, and power folds them in. Press it again, folds them out. You can also have it to where it folds in when you lock the vehicle. There's the door lock controls there. And you can see it has all basically the same functionality and adjustments as the passenger side. You can move it up, down, tilt, and all that stuff. Tilt the back, four-way lumbar adjustment, bolster adjustments in and out, and then the massage function here. And once again, very comfortable seats. Hadn't had any problem with them. All right. right, to the left of the steering column, there is the electronic parking brake. You pull it out to engage it. It engages the rear wheels. And you can see a little bit of the green ambient light here as well. I have it set to green, and we'll look at it in the night video. Like I said, it does have the auto hold function that it holds the brake for you when you come to a complete stop. It has a little indicator light. Lane keep assist system, you can quickly turn it off. Most of the time it works fine, but on narrow country roads, back roads, stuff like that, it's just a problem, so I turned it off. So I'm glad it has a button to easily turn it off. Same thing with the auto stop start, idle stop system. I like to turn that off so it's easy to get to here. This is for the heads-up display. You can turn that system off and on quickly there, and then you can open up the power liftgate with that button. There's also a tilt telescoping steering column. Now, I'm not sure if this is because this is a early production model or prototype or whatever, but basically the seats always have to press this button to get the seat and steering column position that I want. It doesn't automatically do it. It stays in that forward position, the entry mode, until I press the button every single time. Before I put the shade up, I just want to comment on the heads-up display. It's actually fairly well done. It's large enough to where you can see it and everything, but it's not overly distracting or anything like that. You do have to go into the menu, sub-menu on the system in order to make adjustments, but it's not a big deal. You can actually do it while you're driving if you had to, but it's good to set it up before you start driving. Now, it does give you turn-by-turn directions up there, as well as the status of the lane keep assist system, and it has the Pro Pilot. There's two different Pro Pilots, and it shows you the information there, because on the green Pro Pilot will be just like a regular lane keep assist system or hands-on system. But the blue, like it turns blue, a little steering wheel and everything, and that way it's a hands-off system on certain roads. So it's pretty interesting. It's color-coded, and it gives you, relevant information without it's not going overboard, but it's also not distracting to me anyway. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down to show you the potential legroom here, which is unbelievable. It's lots and lots of space. And when you adjust the seats, it'll show here on the screen what you're doing, because there's a lot of buttons and you might get confused. So it basically shows you precisely what you're doing in that moment. Got your bolsters there, including the massage as well. So the steering wheel, very impressed with it. It's nice and thick here and open here on the bottom. And it has like this little, once again, flowing design here and here. And it is a little soft, so it has this very comfortable feel to it all the way around. And I like the thickness, because a thick steering wheel doesn't dig into your hands while you're gripping it. And it's soft in addition to that, and it's quite round. It has the stitching here on the inside, but it's not the type that protrude out and is bothersome. This is actually nice and round. It has a little texture to it, but it's not really a big deal. The paddle shifters here on the back are there in case you want to manually change the gears. And here's the cruise control here on the left, but you see right below it is the volume for the radio. So that bottom part is for the radio. So the change to the tracks here, the volume here on the left side. So you can see it's disconnected from the top part. Top part is the cruise control. And so you have to, the only thing about this cruise control is you have to turn it on here and then you set it. So it's 2 steps instead of just simply 1 step, But once you set it, you can resume by going up. You can resume by going up or down. So if you want to set to another speed, you have to hit the set button again. So it's a little bit different than other systems. It took me a little while to get used to it. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward. And then there's cancel here at the top. Now during the Pro Pilot, hands-off Pro Pilot, you can press this button to change lanes. So you can press the button and then, to use your turn signal, it'll change lanes for you. And it's a hands-off system, and it seems to be pretty solid. Now the regular system on narrow roads, I don't really like it because it's a little bit bothersome. I don't really care for it, but on open highways is where it really works well. And then you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you right here for the adaptive cruise control system. Here on the right side, it actually has this little scroll wheel that's angled, kind of like a 45-degree angle. It kind of lines up with your thumb. And you have these arrows and all that stuff. This corresponds with the screen. Matter of fact, this corresponds with both of these screens. You can choose what screen you want to use, this one or that one. So you can toggle to the right side, now you're controlling that screen. Toggle to the left side, now you're controlling that screen. And you have a left, right, you can press in on the scroll wheel, and you also have a back button here. There's the voice recognition as well. We'll get to that in a second. Windshield wipers front and rear are located here, and it does have the rain sensing system. Here on the left side is the turn signal. It also has the headlight switch and the auto high beams. You can toggle those on or off. They seem to work fine. So there's the off, parking, headlights, and then automatic there. And it shows you here on the screen what you're doing. Okay, so right now I have the regular, like a dial type view on the gauge cluster. And in the settings, that's called a meter view. So you can change the meter view if you like. So right now it has a digital speedometer, and you have the regular, simulated little dial there. There's the fuel gauge with the distance to empty. Here on the right side is the tachometer or RPM gauge. There's the odometer, how many miles the vehicle has. The status of the suspension system. It has a high mode, it has a low mode for entering and exiting. This is the automatic four-wheel drive system. And the information there in the center is, quickly you can scroll through and get different information here using the little scroll wheel. You can see the little bubbles here on the side showing that this part has different options. Now if I scroll to the right, you can see that it has like an image there in the background which you can customize. But let's go here to the right and left. So you can see it's part of a menu system. Little icons pop up. That's the home screen, and there's your different options on the home screen, that one or that one, which is nothing basically. The next one is this different information here, fuel economy and stuff, the status of the height of the vehicle, that kind of stuff is here. Scroll to the right again. The next one will be it's telling you how much fuel you're saving using the idle stop. So 152 milliliters. It's a very, very small amount. All right, scroll up and down with this. And you see where the power is going with the all-wheel drive system. It's almost always going in the rear wheels. And here is this is the status of the wheel pressure, the tire pressure basically. All right, scrolling to the right again. This will be the navigation. And when you have different views, it makes this wider so the navigation can get bigger. You scroll down here, and this is the digital compass. The next one would be your status of the radio, whatever's playing on the radio. Next one would be your roadside information there. Status of the lane keep, the forward collision warning, the blind spot detection system, and lane keep assist system. And this is also the status while you're driving. It'll show you, if there's a vehicle in front of you, that stuff, and that kind of stuff. Speed limit sign once again. All right, going to the right, this is where your settings. So this is where you can go in here and set it up. So you can adjust your heads-up display, your driver assist systems. You can go in here and adjust any one of these. Let's go back out of that. Heads-up display adjustments. Eco mode setting, tire pressure, turn the clock on or off, and vehicle settings here. Now we go into the lighting. Let's show you what the lighting looks like here. You can have it beep the horn when you lock the doors, that kind of stuff. I immediately turn that kind of stuff off. You can go, there's maintenance and stuff like that, but customize display, this is what I was getting to. Hit that, and then you have change meter view. And then you have, right now we have it elegant. Let's go to dynamic. Kind of different looking. And enhanced is more of a minimalized look here. All right. Main menu selection, so we can choose, if we don't want any of these things scrolling through on the main menu, we can uncheck those basically. You can also have the ProPilot Assist display turned on or off. So now I have it in this kind of more minimal look on the gauges. When we scroll through, you can see it gives you information in different places here. It's pretty neat. Let's go ahead and turn on the navigation map. You can see it's bigger now that I have it in this more minimal view. So if we want to have the navigation on this screen, this is a better view in my opinion. So this screen over here is you can see it's a very small separation there. So it's kind of a continuous image from that side to the other for the most part. There's also a camera display that uses both screens as well. But we press this right button here, and now we're controlling this screen. So we can scroll around and make certain selections. Now this is a touch screen, so it's not a big deal to, as you're driving if you want to make a selection, but for me it's easier to just basically use the touch screen. So this is the home button here.
And you see these different views here. You can scroll through and has these widgets. It's easy to get to here. And navigation map, let's go ahead and go to that. You can do different searches. This is a Google system. It has the you know what Google system, so you can use your voice to make searches and stuff like that as well. The next one is the audio. So there's different audio sources: AM, FM, satellite radio, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, and then you have the USB ports there. There's also Amazon Alexa and Spotify as well as apps. The next one is pairing your phone. So once you pair the phone, you have access to everything here. There's the home button. You also have the, you see there's the different phone options there. They're ones that's already been paired, and you can, of course, connect Wi-Fi and vehicle hotspot. Now, Wi-Fi is really good because you can also download the files off of the integrated dash cam, which we'll get to in a second. All right, so this is the Hey Google system. So you can see it does a pretty good job.
According to Wikipedia, the system is an American synth pop duo that debuted in the 1980s.
I don't know what that's talking about. All right, so this next one here, there's the integrated dash cam. All right, so I have the shade over this over here, so it's getting like a big reflection here. But there's the front and rear views, and you could take a photo and all that stuff. It also has the inside camera here as well, which the shade is covering up some of it. And then we can go into the settings here. There is a lot of different things that you can set up here in the settings. So you definitely want to take your time when you first get this vehicle and go through all the settings and fine tune it as best you can. You might have to do some more adjustments to the settings, but there's a lot of stuff. So this one has a really impressive sound system. So when you go into the sound settings, it has, of course, bass, middle, treble, that kind of stuff. It has this DJX surround system. And when you have that turned on, it'll use these speakers in the headrests more. Because sometimes it just doesn't use them. They're just there in case you get like a phone call or something like that. And then it directs it directly to the, you can have it set up to where individual audio settings, to where it has the navigation and the phone directly to the driver and not to everybody. You can have that set up if you want. But if you want to have a little bit of sound coming from the headrest, the DJX 3D surround system is pretty impressive. It kind of helps out with all the making it sound amazing. It already sounds so good. It's a really good sound system. Very impressive. And like I said, there's a link in the description that's going to have all the specs and details and everything for the vehicle, sound system, everything, dash cam, everything is going to be in that link. So there's a volume for the radio, change to the tracks here for the radio as well. It's kind of, not easy to reach or whatever, so you do have to use the steering wheel controls, but it's kind of in the middle. Even the passenger has a hard time reaching it, but it is kind of cool, I guess, the way it's in that it looks good anyway. So this has the gear shifter here. I'll get to the screen in a second. Four-way flashes are here, and then it has the gear shifters here. So it's simply just pressing a button. And so there's park, reverse, parking sensors will turn on, camera will turn on, neutral, and then drive. And when you put it in drive, if you press the drive button again, it'll go into manual mode, and you can use the paddle shifters, and it'll show you what gear you're in right there. And you can just put it back in park here. This is where you can select the automatic height of the vehicle, depending on the terrain. And then if you need to go to the camera, you just press that button. And let's go ahead and show you the camera system now. So when I press the camera button, if I press it one time, it's going to show one of the camera views. But I can keep pressing it to cycle through the different views that we have here on the screen. So right now the vehicle's in park. I don't have it in reverse, drive, or anything like that. So just want to show you where we're at, because this will be more important when I show you some other views. So this is the 3D view, and we can actually kind of see the vehicle, which we could change the color if we want. And we can see what's directly around the vehicle. And you can see those lines, represent the width, including the side mirrors. And you can see around very well. It does a really good job of, representing everything around the vehicle, very clear and high clarity, and just natural looking. It just looks really good. Today's a really cloudy day, so it's able to still pick up, even with this lower light, how all the details and everything around the vehicle. And you can have these quick views here, like so, if you get disoriented, I guess. But you could just grab it and move it around. So that's the 3D view. It's helpful in certain scenarios. So let's go here to this is the most, probably the normal view that you would see in most vehicles, where it has a top-down view, and then it shows the front view. Since we're in drive, it's showing the front view. If we put it in reverse, it'll show you the reverse view. So I'll show you that right now. So you can see the active guidelines. As I turn the steering wheel, it shows where the vehicle is going to go, and then you can see the active guidelines there, with also a center line as well. And you can see, I don't know if you could tell, that it has the tire track here and here separate from the width of the vehicle. So it shows you the tire track, shows you the center, and all that stuff. Now that red line is showing you basically, you know, you don't want to get any closer to that because that's like super close. It looks far, but it's actually very close because this is kind of like a wide angle view. All right, so let's put it in drive. When we put it in drive, it'll show the front view. Now there's this second view right here where it shows the front view with the active guidelines, but also shows the side of the vehicle. So it's actually removing the vehicle and only showing you the side. So that's the front tire there. So as I turn the steering wheel, you can see the wheels turn, so we can get a precise view right where the wheels are. So if we're getting close to something, we can avoid hitting it, but if we need to get really close, we can keep an eye on it, that kind of thing. This next view right here is very interesting, and that's the reason why I wanted to show you where I'm at, because this is the front of the vehicle, but it's actually showing you both ways. So it's actually, it's so well done as far as not looking too distorted that it's kind of confusing sometimes when you first see it. So I'm pulled up to that curb, and it makes that curb, it just shows both ways, like to right and left. So if you're pulling out of a parking space, or if there's a wall or some kind of barrier and you can't see, this gives you that view right in front of the vehicle. Like right where that camera is the very tip of the vehicle in front. And so you can see around corners and stuff. Excellent idea, and it works really well. Some vehicles have this, you know, especially in backup cameras, but it's a little bit distorted, looks a little bit weird. This one actually looks so well done. It's a little distorted there in the center, but man, is it just well done here in the front. And then there's this next view. It's called invisible hood view. I think it's something like that. So right now you can see under the vehicle is a shadow. But you can see the tires, and you can see the angle of the tires as I turn. So let's go ahead and I'm going to put it in reverse. So we're going to have a different view here for a second. But so I can get away from this curve. This is required to do this. All right, so let's go back to this invisible hood view right here. So it was able to get enough information to estimate what's underneath the vehicle. So as I move, it's taking a view, kind of recording a view in front of the vehicle and then passing it under as I drive to kind of just give me, you can see it's a little bit disconnected, but it gives you a general idea of what's underneath the vehicle now. And as you're going slow, you see that line. You can see it's generally straight. It's a little bit distorted, but you can get an idea of where the angle of the tire and what's certainly on the outside, but underneath the vehicle too a little bit, just to give you some context. And it's kind of representing an invisible hood, like you're looking through the vehicle. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So now check this out. If we hit this button right here, this expanding button, it expands the view across the complete screen here. Basically, there's a little divider here. It's actually two screens, but across both of these screens is the view. So as we're driving, we can see a really big expanded view of what we just looked at. Thought that was pretty cool. Now, it's not like you're driving fast. You know, this is for like off-road, you know, like a tight parking spot, something like that. If you go too fast, then this view will go away. You can't really like rely on this for driving around fast or anything. It's not like you're on the highway looking at this or anything. But yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. It does a decent job of just kind of filling in what's underneath the vehicle. But yeah. get that view all the way across. You can do the same thing with this view here, but it's basically just showing you what's in front of the vehicle. So it's not as, it's still kind of, it's very useful, but it's kind of not quite as fun as this one right here. Let's see, let's go to this. Yeah, that's the one we saw. All right, let's go back here. So yeah, there's that front view. And okay, so yeah, so this one all the way across from one side to the other, we can get a good view. So this is that really wide shot. So it makes everything, make it to where you can see both ways. So I'm going to pull back up to this curb so you can see what I'm talking about. It's that original view that as we pull up, we can see both ways in front of the vehicle. You're able to expand that as well. And here's another cool feature. So like right here is, look, you can drop a pin basically on the GPS. And what it'll do is this camera view will pop up. Let's say you have a favorite parking spot and you park there regularly, and you want a particular view when you get to that parking spot, so you can nail the parking spot and make sure you're in there, you know, precisely or whatever. Well, you can choose the view that you want, and then you can drop this pin, and then as you get close to that parking spot, it'll go up and pull up that parking view, whatever view that you want, and then it'll give you the ability to, you know, pull in there properly and everything. I thought it was pretty neat. It's this one right here. You have that ability, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's the only one that gives you that view. So yeah, you can drop a pin basically for that particular view. So this really wide view, you can drop a pin for that, and then you can make this wider if you want. Okay, so I'm pulling back into that spot where I was. So as we get close to it, it should pop up that view. Since we weren't there and now we're getting close to it, let's see what happens. There it goes. It sensed that we were getting close to that spot that we were at, and it pops out up that camera view that I had dropped the pin on. Nice. So it has an integrated dash cam, and it does the front, in front of the vehicle, behind the vehicle. There's also an inside camera as well. So you can record audio and video basically in all these different locations. It comes integrated with the system, the actual footage. I got it on a high bit rate. You can change the bit rate to, you know, high or low or medium. So it has different levels there. Plus you can choose how many minutes you would like to record. So like if you want to record just 1 minute or whatever, also record on impact and all that stuff. So yeah, it seems like a pretty advanced, integrated, like an actual integrated dash cam. This vehicle has a mirror, like a regular mirror, and it also has a camera. And so the camera system is designed to where if there's, you know, the visibility behind this vehicle is pretty decent, but if you have a lot of passengers and all that stuff, and there's all these headrests in the way, and you have cargo piled up, this camera is a lifesaver because you can see directly behind the vehicle. So really, really done. So it has this full menu system here. So you can choose brightness, you can choose to go up and down. So let's go back up to brightness. I can show you the different brightness levels here. So you can go up pretty good. And let's go down here. You can go into the negative numbers as well. The center range is pretty good, is pretty decent. Let's go down here to up and down. Now we can, I like to pull it down because it's already a tall vehicle. So you can see you could look at the trees if you want for whatever reason. But bringing it down lower is more convenient. I bring it all the way down because it is a high vehicle. I want to see, like, you know, directly behind the vehicle. So, you know, having that ability to do that is really good. You also have a rotation. So let's say, so if it just doesn't look level to you, it just doesn't look right, you can, you know, just give a little bit of adjustment there to make it look better for your eyes. And let's go. Indication, let's go ahead and So the indication, if you turn it on, it's going to have alerts here on the screen. So you can turn that on or off. It could be blind spot alerts. It could be, you know, a variety of different things. And so let's go here, make sure that that is on. And then let's go down here to the dimming mirror, which is this part, auto dimming mirror. You can change that on or off in this little menu. You can change the language, and then we can view the license here. That's kind of interesting. So it has like a full license for the software in the smart mirror. A lot of information there. But yeah, it was pretty neat. But it's very handy. Having a mirror that's just a camera is good, but this one is a smart mirror, so it's got a lot more features than a normal camera system. So this separate screen below the main screen is intended to separate some features down here, so it's not getting in the way of the infotainment screen. So it is mostly climate, and so you can go here to front, rear, and it has like a tactile. When you press it, you kind of have to press it. You can't just, it's not like like your cell phone where you just touch it. You have to actually press it, and it has like a little vibration feel when you press the button. So there's the front climate control, and you can adjust the fan speed, temperature, where you want the air to blow, all that stuff. You also have heated and cooled seats, 3-stage, driver and passenger. And then the front rear defrosters, all that. You do have an automatic climate control as well. You can turn the climate control off here. You can recirculate the air automatically there if you'd like. And then the rear is basically the same thing. It has heated and cooled seats back in the second row seats, which is amazing. And you also have this mode button, which you have a lot more functionality. You have the ability to raise up the vehicle. You can have it lower down in the access mode. There's also an auto button down here as well for automatically letting the vehicle choose what height is best. You also have your 4-wheel drive high and your auto 4-wheel drive buttons. Traction control off, default will be on. Then you have your drive modes here as well. So you can have one that you can personalize, change the steering feel, the ride quality, the acceleration, that kind of stuff. You have an eco mode, sport, tow mode, and then a snow mode. So this will be accelerating slowly, keep you from spinning tires. But standard is actually pretty good. It's not overly slow or anything like that. All of them have their uses, but standard is actually pretty good. Some vehicles, the standard mode isn't very good, and then I have to switch to sport mode, and then there's problems with that. So this one actually has a really good standard mode just for everyday driving. Okay, so this area here, this is the cup holder area. And has 2 cup holders, has little articulating arms here that hold the cups and bottles and stuff. And there's a rubber floor at the bottom, so if you put stuff in there, it's not going to slide around as much. This also opens up, and this is where you'll find a wireless cell phone charger. And there's a felt-lined area. There's also USB-C ports here as well. But there is, you can see there, I just turned the lights on so you can see they're illuminated. But when you put the cell phone in there, there's no indicator that it's charging. You just gotta assume that it's charging. It seems to work fine, but it'd be nice to have some kind of light to verify that it's actually charging somewhere, just to let me know, because there's been times where I thought my phone was charging and I get to my destination and my phone is half dead and I needed that battery power, so having that certainty is good. It also has this this rubber piece that you can take out, clean it, put it back in, which helps out if you accidentally drop something down in there. You can kind of slide this out and get it out. So yeah, it works pretty good. I mean, it's a decent system here, and it seems to work fine. I mean, even with my cell phone case, it seems to work. But I just wish there was some, verification light or something like that. Also, if you're resting your arm there, it's very easy to hit it and open these up. All right, so this is kind of rubbery soft. It's not super soft. It's not cushy soft. It's like feeling a tire, it's kind of rubbery soft. And this lifts up, and it has this little storage cubby right here, which is rubberized in the bottom. But this is a little cool box. They call it a cool box. And basically it just directs air conditioning in there. does a good job. It's not like a full refrigerator or anything. It does have a seal here at the top. And it is like a hard plastic there on the inside. So it works as a storage compartment, but also a cool box at the same time. But I wish I had a light or something in there. Above the rear view mirror, there is a place to put your shades, and it has like a felt lining, like a real nice feeling felt all the way here and here on the back side as well. The interior lights, you can turn them all on with this button here. You can also, if you tap the lights themselves, it says like a little reading light. You can have the lights turn on with the door or not by having that selected. You do have a roadside assistance button right here. If you press that, it opens up the little door, and then you can press that button underneath it. And then these are the shade buttons for the sunroof shade, and then the sunroof itself here on the left side. We'll get to that in a second. This little thing right here is an infrared sensor, and basically it's able to tell the heat signatures for people. It's like they call it a biometric climate control. So basically, if you get, let's say you pick up somebody who's been playing sports or whatever, and they sit back there, then it senses that person's hotter than everybody else that's been not playing sports, sitting in the car nice and cool, and basically it'll direct more cool air and colder air to them. So that's what it claims anyway. So that's the little sensor for that. There's the inside camera, and then right on the other side is the exterior camera. The visor is a felt, it's kind of like a simulated suede material, just like the headliner here. It has a little clip right here. There's a mirror with a light, kind of small mirror. It does slide out on a metal rod here. And you can see it has a speaker here and a microphone here. So the shade covers 100% of the light. So let's go ahead and pull it back using the right switch. It'll stop about halfway. Press it again, and it goes the rest of the way back. There we go. So this back portion is fixed. The front portion moves. Let's go ahead and tilt it up. Pull it back down. Now we slide it back. Pull it back again. Goes back a little bit further, actually. All right, pull it forward. And we'll go ahead and move the shade. Can't move the shade and that at the same time. All right, so let's go ahead and do the shade now. Press it again to go all the way forward. So looking at the visibility here in the back, it does have headrests that get in the way. It does have pillars and stuff like that. But overall, hasn't really been a problem with driving this vehicle. It is, of course, supplemented by all the technology that the vehicle has, and I rely on the technology as well. But you know, just kind of looking out the side mirrors, looking over my shoulder, I can confirm and see around the vehicle fairly well. Now these front pillars, you can see it's kind of wide here on the passenger side. Wide, and there's no space between that and the side mirror. So on this side, has a little tiny space, but still these pillars are quite wide, with a speaker and the pillar and all that stuff, and you know, all that. So it's something to get used to. You don't want to, you know, you just don't want to take it for granted. You definitely want to, you know, check everywhere, because these are the pillars that most people they underestimate the amount of stuff that can hide behind these pillars. They're mostly worried about the back ones, but these are very important to make sure, like say you stop it completely at a stop sign, that kind of stuff, because otherwise things can hide behind these pillars. So on camera, you may notice that there's some little lights flashing right here. There's infrared illuminators here and a little camera right here that keeps an eye on your face to make sure when you're using the hands-off system that you're paying attention to the road. So that's basically what that is for. So those little IR illuminators, you can't see them with your eyes, but with the camera sometimes it'll pick them up. So I really enjoy the camera system over here. Driving the vehicle in general helps out with tight parking spaces and just overall driving the vehicle safely.
And the thing I noticed about it is when I started driving it, it is a big vehicle, and I don't usually drive large vehicles like this. Like this is, you know, I don't have a need for it, right? So when I started driving it, it's like, okay, it's a big vehicle and I'm driving it, and it, you know, it takes a little getting used to. But then it drives so well, and it has a pretty good turning radius and fairly smooth for the size of the vehicle. You know, there's certain times in which it gives a little bit of a, you know, because of the height and everything, a little amplifies some of the bumps, you know, the lateral bumps especially. But I start to just drive it like a regular car and just kind of zip around and not realize that I'm like, whoa, I need to slow down, or I need to, you know, take into consideration that I have a much larger vehicle that I'm driving, because it handles so well. It feels good. It feels like I just want to zip around, you know, but it's just too big to do that. I mean, you could do it, but you know, you really don't want to, it's nimble enough to do that, but you don't want to, you know, take chances anyway. Have a bunch of junk in the back, camera equipment and stuff. So I have it in normal drive mode, and we'll go ahead and turn on the cruise control, set it. And the lane keep assist system is in the green, so that is the hands-on system. And just take my hands off so you can see how it works. It just basically turns the steering wheel, tries to keep you in the center of the lane. And this road is kind of wide, and it's straight, you know, it's not curvy and all that stuff. But on backcountry roads where you have a narrow road and it's very curvy, this system it struggles, and basically it'll annoy you because it's constantly beeping out of you because you get too close to the line. So I just quickly turn it off. But on straight roads, especially highways, this really helps out with just kind of cruising on the highway. It keeps you at a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and you can adjust that distance there. And so yeah, highway driving, I've gotten spoiled with these type of systems where it just takes a lot of stress out of driving on highways. The only problem is you get stuck behind a slowpoke and you don't really realize it sometimes because it slows the vehicle down gradually, and then all of a sudden you're like, why am I going so slow? But yeah, it's so easy to just kind of zip around, even though this is a large vehicle. The acceleration is fantastic. And in the sport mode, the regular mode is fine, but when you put it in sport mode, it's amazing how the shifting and the acceleration just comes to life even more. It is quite incredible, actually. The first time I experienced the sport mode, I mean, it's not like you want to drive around in sport mode all the time, but you know, if you need that acceleration, it's going to give you a little bit of a punch to every gear shift is going to be a little bit tighter, and but yeah, it's pretty impressive. Let's go ahead and put it in sport mode. I don't see that many cars around. Go ahead and I just want to accelerate so you can see what I'm talking about. Now I do notice a little bit of like fake engine noise coming through the speakers, you know, but other than that, it is pretty impressive for the size of the vehicle size of the vehicle, size of the engine, and all that stuff. It's able to go. It feels really good. Now, there's not a lot of people in here. It's just me. There's not a lot of cargo. I'm not towing anything. I'm not going uphill, you know. So if I was going up a steep hill towing and then had a bunch of people in the car, maybe it'll struggle more. But yeah, it definitely will. But it's just a matter of how much. But yeah, I think a lot of people, when they see a V6, they're like, V6, that's going to be underpowered, but it's actually very powerful with a twin turbo system and everything, and the transmission handles everything well, very well, and it's smooth and quiet. Like sometimes, like listen to the sound system just a little bit in the background. It drowns out any kind of outside noise, any kind of road noise, any kind of noise whatsoever. It's not much. And it just feels like I'm completely, just separated from the world and everything. But yeah, real nice. Turn that idle stop off.
right, go ahead and set it there. Once again, we've got a slow poke. But let's go around this person here. All right, so right now we have the green ProPilot. So this one has the 2 levels. The first one, it depends on the road, you know, like some roads will not have the blue ProPilot because the ProPilot assist system only works on certain highways and stuff. So this part of this road has doesn't have the hands-off system. But we're just up here a little ways, it's going to turn to the blue section. I'll show you that it's a full hands-off system, and it works fairly well, you know. And this green one, the first level works well too when the roads are nice and wide and, you know, not a lot of turns or anything. It's a relatively straight road. And the heads-up display is really well done. It's sharp, clean. It's not blurry. Everything's large enough for me to see, and it's not distracting, you know. Adjusted it for me, and it works well. Overlays on the road perfectly, basically. All right, shortly after this light right up here is the section of the highway that will be the hands-off section. It's just not very long, but this is the one that's closest to me anyway. All right, we're still blue, and you can see it has the information down here, like it's showing other lanes, it's showing that vehicle there, vehicle in front of me. So it has information on the heads-up display and down here. All right, so it just turned blue. So now we have a hands-off system, and so I can just let go of the steering wheel, and it holds the steering wheel within the lane. It can see around the vehicle, see different vehicles. There's a vehicle coming up to my left. It's giving me the indicator for the blind spot, both on the screen, the heads-up display, and on the mirror. It's showing the vehicle pass. And this whole time, my hands are off the wheel. It sees this other vehicle coming up and passing. All right, so now this is a construction zone, so it's going to turn off the second level of the ProPilot. But yeah, just to give you an idea of what it's like, the 2 levels there with the ProPilot Assist, it is pretty handy, especially definitely on highways. It'll make you spoiled. Me personally, I don't really care for the hands-off type systems, but you know, I would probably still hold the steering wheel, but you don't really have to, you know. So let's go ahead and change lanes. Go ahead and hit that button there, and it changes lanes for you. And we went back to the first level for some reason. Now, something I should mention, that this steering wheel has a grip sensor, so you don't have to, like some lane keep assist systems, basically fight with you a little bit because it's trying to see if you're holding the steering wheel. That's the only way it can tell you're holding the steering wheel. This one, you simply just put your hand on it and it can sense your hand gripping the steering wheel. So it doesn't fight with you, and it doesn't force you to jiggle the steering wheel every few seconds, you know. So yeah, that grip sensor really helps out a lot with, you know, just not being an annoying system. Had an opportunity to drive a 2025 Infiniti QX80. Now this one is in the sensory trim. I don't have the window sticker on this one, but the VIN decoder basically said it was a sensory trim. So I don't know what packages or anything it has. The QX80, the 2025 model, is really getting a lot of attention the way it looks. It had the engine that it has, the power, some of the features. Now this particular one has like a silver wheel here. Looking pretty good. It's not quite as luxury looking. It's a 22-inch wheel, but it's kind of like a silver look to it. Combination of a gloss silver finish and just regular aluminum that's been clear coated. But it looks pretty cool. A really big wheel, and it doesn't look that big compared to the vehicle because the vehicle's so big. So this one has that combination of brown and leather, and then it has like the simulated suede down here. Ebony wood. It feels really good. It's like an open pore feeling surface. There's an ambient light, which I showed that in the top trim, which basically has the same thing with the different colors and everything. It's not very bright, but it has it. It has the Klipsch, I guess that's how you say it, sound system, which is fantastic. Illuminated sill plate. Now the seats are highly adjustable, even on the passenger side. It has a massage. You can adjust the bolsters here, 4-way lumbar adjustments. It also has heated and cooled seats. So yeah, they're very comfortable. It has speakers here on the headrest as well, here in the front. It's a little net pocket. But yeah, very similar to the top trim. Here in the back, huge door back here, so it's very easy to get in and out. Same styling here on the back door. And the seats, power seats here for the captain's chairs. They're heated and cooled as well. But yeah, pretty awesome. This is kind of plain, but it is soft touch back here. Completely flat floor. You have climate controls back here. This is where you control the seats. Now this one, since it's not the high trim, it doesn't have this center, like big center console with a tablet looking thing in it. It just has these cup holders and these USB ports here. You have a USB ports there with a 12-volt power supply. Go ahead and use these buttons here. Move that up out of the way to get to the third row. And there's the third row. Lots of room. It only has the car seats on this left side. Car seat attachment, doesn't have it on the rest. There's the ability to get out. USB port there, cup holders, little storage space. Completely flat floor, lots of room overall back here. I don't remember seeing this shelf in the higher trim that I had tested. It has like this removable shelf and repositional. Now, since these seats can recline a little bit, it has this empty space, which also, if you set things on the shelf, can fall down this way. So yeah, it has these little buttons here that you release it here and there, and you can take it out. But then you can also position it here like this, and then push it up, and then push these in there and there. And now this is more useful to me, is that way it kind of keeps things in there, and this little creates this huge cubby space. Now there's some space under the seat, under this floor that you can't get to now, but it's very solid and it keeps things in place. You know, for whatever reason you might want to have this. To me personally, I would just leave this out. Like, I wouldn't even use this. It just seems to get in the way when you're not using it. It just kind of gets in the way. No matter what I do, it's always in the way, and there's no place to put it out of the way. So while it is kind of interesting, it could be useful for some people. Me personally, you know, it's not really a thing. Has this little cubby here on the left side. It's kind of out of the way. That's pretty cool. It has this cover that whatever you put in there is going to be well hidden and completely out of the way. There's a power inverter here, 3-prong, and it's 150 watts. Not a huge amount, but you can do some stuff with it. You can also lower the vehicle back here if you need a little bit better entry height, or raise it So this could come in handy also for hooking up a trailer, which it does have the trailer hitch underneath the cover here. This cover right under here, you're able to release that for the trailer hitch. And it has the ability to raise and lower the seats back here. So we'll go ahead and push that so you can see it, how it goes down. And it's a 60-40 split in the third row, and then it's just 2 seats there in the captain's chair so you can add to your cargo space. So yeah, it gets a pretty substantial amount of space back here when you start folding the seats down. And you can also maintain some passenger space. Let's go ahead and start it up. And one of the great things about this vehicle, it has these 2 screens here, and it has a little screen here separating some of the other controls in a more simple, easy to reach area. But the camera system is really good. Has a lot of pop-ups in here when you first start it up. But yeah, there's the navigation map. But yeah, I've mentioned this in the other video with the higher end vehicle, but the camera system is fantastic. So you had that top-down view, and then you have the front or the back view, and you can change the different views here. So you can have the front view and then the sides of the vehicle, so you can see right where the tires are. You can have just the wide front view. And then you can have this, what they're calling a invisible hood view. So you can actually see the wheels as I turn them, and you can have active guidelines as well. So yeah, and I went over, I have a video just showing just the camera system, like a whole video just on the camera systems on this vehicle. So yeah, just kind of showing you that even this trim level has all these different capabilities. You have different views here on this screen as well. And also having the rear view camera in addition to the backup camera and the rear view mirror, is excellent, because sometimes you have a lot of people or cargo in the back, and being able to actually see behind you when all that stuff, anything is getting in the way. So like this right here, there's nothing in the way right now, but if there's passengers there or you have a bunch of cargo piled up, there's a little small mirror window back there, and you have blind spots. So this gives you a direct view behind the vehicle, which you can adjust the brightness, the position, and all that stuff as well. And then this one has the sunroof, the full panoramic sunroof as well. So yeah, roof rails and all that stuff, roof racks. So yeah, there's so many features on this one. I mean, it's very similar to the other one. I mean, it's almost identical. There's just the tippy top features that are missing on this one, but yeah, you save thousands of dollars if you don't need those additional those tippy top features, And I'll have it in the description. I'll have it all laid out. I have actually a link to it because there's too much to fit in the description. A link to all the features and what you get in each trim level, and also all the videos that I've made on the QX80, the 2025 model, because there's a lot of, I've made several videos on this vehicle, and so yeah, it's very interesting. The hands-on lane keep assist system is sometimes a little more trouble than what it's worth, depending on the road that you're on. Like, this is a clearly marked road, and it's not super curvy. It's wide open. It's not very narrow, and it gives me issues a lot. It kind of swerves around and fights with me as I'm driving. So yeah, the hands-off system on the highways works really well, but this one, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. But it kind of works better when you don't hold the steering wheel. But if you loosely hold it like this, it tends to work fine. But if you're really gripping the steering wheel like you're really supposed to, then it kind of fights with you, and then it'll try to get you too close to the line, and you try to fight against it, and it pushes you into the line basically sometimes, and then it gives you an alert that you went over the line. It's like I'm trying to avoid doing that. That's why I'm trying, that's why I'm fighting with the system constantly. So yeah, it's so like right now it's working all right, but there's certain times where all of a sudden it just starts oscillating, and you have to fight against the steering wheel, trying to maintain a consistent place in the lane. But yeah, the hands-off system works really good, but the hands-on is usually fine, but there's times in which it can be a problem, in which you can, turn it off if you want. But overall, this is a very comfortable, feature-rich, powerful vehicle that has lots of room and a lot of different, features that brings the Infiniti brand into, the era in which we're in. 2025 model is definitely an upgrade for sure. Some of the models are a little bit dated, the Infiniti brand, but this is really making it. The exterior style, which is very bold and gets attention. Interior looks fantastic. Really like it overall. It's just, if you need this type of vehicle, if you're in the market of the, $100,000 vehicle plus, this particular one is $100,000. Then you have the higher end trim, and you need the space and all that stuff, the towing capacity. If you need all the features that this vehicle brings to the table, this is definitely one to at least test drive, because they've really made a big difference. If you've driven an Infiniti in the past, and then definitely come back to the brand just to test drive this one, because definitely wouldn't overlook it. You could save a lot of money, because there's a lot of the other ones that are more expensive. These type of vehicles, these big SUVs, 3-row SUVs, with powerful engines and all that stuff. Definitely re-entering that market strong, with a strong stance, with this style and the capability and everything with this vehicle. Okay, so this highway should have the hands-free system. So right now it's showing the green, which is the hands-on system. And there we go, it turns blue. So now we have the hands-free. So now I can let go of the steering wheel, and the hands-free seems to work better than the hands-on. Feels more solid in the middle of the road, and not too close to the edge. We'll see it when people pass me. Sometimes a passing car will make the system deviate a little bit for some reason, on some vehicles anyway, or some brands, some systems. So yeah, here comes a car here, showing it on my blind spot. There's a slight swerve there, yeah. But seem to handle that okay. So yeah, we're hands-free right now. 70 miles per hour, no hands on the wheel, no foot on the pedal. But it does have a camera here, just making sure that I'm looking at the road. So yeah, we got another car passing. Alright, seems to handle that, no problem. Handle some bumps. I like the little animation thing they have down here, a little picture showing you that there's vehicles in the blind spot, and then moving across. It shows the lines. It actually shows 2 vehicles now. So yeah, this seems to handle it pretty good. And the lines aren't very clearly marked either. Like, they're barely visible to my eyes. They're like faded really bad right now, but it's able to see them enough to keep the system on. Got a little swerve there, but merging traffic ahead, watch out for merging vehicles. Okay. Let's give us a little heads up there. Shows there's a vehicle in a blind spot again. So I have it on the heads-up display. I got to have it on the screen here, and the illuminated little triangle on the side mirror illuminates when there's a vehicle in a blind spot. A lot of traffic and a lot of... I'm like going 70. It's a speed limit 70, and everybody else is going 80 apparently. Which is good. That'd be good to demonstrate the how it handles other cars around. Yeah, so basically it's the adaptive cruise control is still the same. And the lane keep assist system is apparently better. When it turns blue and it goes to hands-free, it seems to work a lot better than the hands-on system, which tends to fight with me and, you know, not all that great. But it's okay on highways, but on back roads it's not all that great. But yeah, seems to work well. Hands-on wheel road construction. I don't see any road construction. Oh, some cones back there. That's what it was. All right, so now that's gone. So let's go. Goes back to hands-free again. I guess it recognized those cones as road construction. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a highway vehicle. You have good visibility, height off the ground, fairly comfortable ride, smooth. Yeah, this is really good for long trips, I would say. You have pretty decent amount of room here with a lot of passengers, and the hands-free system is working well. But yeah. Now it does have the like a passing assist system, but every time I've used it on this vehicle and other vehicles, the Aria and Nissans and stuff, it's designed. This system is designed to where you're paying attention to the road. In other words, you're looking forward. But when you go to turn, you have to turn your head to check your blind spot briefly right before you make your turn. And as soon as I turn my head, it disables that whole lane passing assist system instantly. It's like, oh, you turn your head, therefore we got to turn the system off. So unless you're not checking your blind spots, you're just like allowing the system to do it for you, and you're not being safe by checking your own blind spots before moving, then it doesn't really work very well. So the hands-free system is fine when you're just going straight and you're not passing or anything, but as soon as you need to pass or change lanes or whatever, then it pretty much turns into a hands-on system for me anyway, just because it disables itself as soon as I turn my head to check the blind spot.
When you walk up to the vehicle with the key, it senses the key, and I have it set to where it will automatically unlock the doors and relock as I walk away. So you can see this light shines here on the side. It says the Infiniti name, and then it has these lines here, kind of like wings or water flowing. They're kind of like an approach light. I mean, not really. They're mostly an accent light. So let's go ahead and hit the unlock button, because that light went away. All right, so there I hit it, unlock again. So you can see that light there on the side is just mostly for looks. It's not very functional, but you do have the headlights and the tail lights on, and some of the interior lights are also on. When you turn the headlight switch to the complete off position, it still has these daytime running lights shining here in the front. as well as an illuminated badge. But the problem with this is that these lights they do cast a fair amount of light in front of the vehicle, so you could potentially think that you have your headlights on when you don't. So there's no tail lights, there's no side markers, anything like that. Your headlights are not on, but you might be driving around thinking that it's on. So now I have the parking lights on, and the parking lights are basically the same lights that we just saw, and they have the little segments here across the front, looking really nice. And they're in this high position, very easily seen by other drivers. There's also an illuminated Infinity badge, and it's kind of like has this three-dimensional effect. See, it kind of goes in there a little bit, outlines the shape of the symbol, but it has like this little insert right here. It's kind of neat. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, those daytime running lights are kind of bright. There's also an amber side marker here in the front. The tail lights wrap around to the side of the vehicle, serving as a side marker as well. They're all both red. All the lights actually are red back here, but you can see it has like this style. Hopefully you can see that. Let me bring the brightness down. So you can see these lines right here. Once again, they're emphasizing a flow state. And then you have the little segments here across the middle. Really stylish and nice looking, especially if you take the time to look at them and appreciate what they did. They did it's not just regular bulky lights. We do have some details here in the lights. Nice red glow as well. Tag light is also on. The turn signal basically takes that white light and turns it to an amber color, and then it is pretty bright. So, and it's in that high position so other cars can see it nicely. It's amber in color, and this is that same light that's segmented. Nice and bright, high position, looks good. There's also a turn signal indicator here on the side mirror. It's amber in color. It's visible from the front, the side, and the back. And back here, the turn signal is an amber light, and it is at the base of the tail lights. So it's a different color. It's separate from the actual lights, the tail lights themselves. It's additional light. And I think that looks good, and it's in decent height off the ground as well. It's not too low. Now the reverse lights are in the inner portion of the tail lights, and the brake lights, there's actually a third brake light at the top of the glass as well. Okay, so there's the light in front of the vehicle with the headlights. Let's see, there's off. There's completely off, and there's some lights shining in front of the vehicle. So let's go ahead and turn the actual headlights on so you can see the difference there. So these are the low beams. So this one has a projector system, and the low beams is actually two lights here. There's a lower one and a higher one. The actual one, the one on top, is actually the low beams, which is interesting. And it appears to be two lenses there, so it might be two lights behind those lenses, projector lights. It's rather a small light, but it's very sharp and focused. So it focuses the light below the eyes of the oncoming traffic. So if I stand back here, I can look directly at the lights, and they're a little bit bright, but they're not blinding me. So I dip down the camera and I get to a certain point. Right there is where the cutoff is. This is about 3 feet off the ground. So it's aiming down, and there's a clear cutoff, as we'll see when we drive down the road. Now let's switch to the high beams here. And the high beams are that lower projector system. So now both of them on both sides are illuminated, and this adds an additional light, which I like to see. I like when the high beams are actually a separate light that turn on, because that way we have additional light that they give her better headlights and better pattern and all that stuff. You can see little reflections right here on the ground in front of the vehicle. We'll see. Hopefully it's overlapped enough to where it's not patchy on the road, but we'll find out. The cargo light is just the single light here in the center. Now, it is fairly bright. It's actually two little lights in that lens, it looks like. And the good thing about it is that it's bright. And we do have a small cargo area. So it does a halfway decent job of illuminating this area. We do have some backlit buttons here to the right side here. There is a compartment here which has no light in it, but you can see in there fairly well. So yeah, the position light and the brightness of it seems to work well. It's not excellent, but I think two of them would have been a little bit better. But that high position in the center and brightness makes it to where it's, I would say, adequate. The inside of the back door, there's no puddle light or anything. Kind of surprised with a vehicle like this. There is some ambient light, and I have it set to green. So everywhere you see green is here in the pocket, here, on that speaker grill, and then there's that line. That can be customized to different colors, and I'll show you that when we get to the screen. There is an illuminated sill plate, and the lights here are coming from either side of the sunroof, and they do a decent job. They're once again fairly bright, and the pattern is good. They illuminate the floor fairly well. And there's the controls back here and USB ports there. Cup holders are not illuminated. This compartment has no light in it. The third row has a single light, or actually two lights in the same little housing there. But yes, does, once again, because of the brightness and everything, it does a decent job. Not excellent, but it does a decent job. You do have some backlit buttons back here for the seat controls. The inside of the driver's door, once again, no puddle light. There's no approach light. I mean, it has accent light that kind of looks like an approach light, but it's not really functional. So we have no real approach light. We don't really have a puddle light here. It's kind of surprising with a vehicle this expensive. Okay, so we have the green lights here on the door, just like the back, and then the backlit buttons here and here. Illuminated sill plate, and you can see the green light is in the floorboard. It's in this compartment here, which is great. But as you'll see, there's some more areas which need more light. Okay, so I have the door open with the interior lights on here in the front, and you see these lights mostly shine in the lap area, so they do a fairly decent job of not blinding the driver and stay focused on the center area here. Let's go ahead and shut the door and see what we're left with. So you can see that everything that's green is customizable. There's a little green accent there, that compartment under there. The floorboard has that green light. So there's a lot of screens in this vehicle. So there's a brightness adjustment right here. So we can increase and decrease the brightness. So there's the super bright. Now I wish that these door lights would have the super brightness separate, like you can have these on all the time, but as you adjust the brightness, it basically adjusts everything, including the door lights. And you know, let's say I want it to be dim like this, but then the switches here on the door get very dim sometimes, especially during the day. I can barely see them. So I wish that was separate, but as it is, it's pretty good. Let's go ahead and go the full range there, and you can see those lights, kind of those line lights, kind of water flowing lights there, nice and bright. But once you start getting to the dimmer levels, they're kind of not as noticeable. And the same thing with the ambient light. The ambient light is, I have it on maximum brightness. It may look bright on camera, but it's actually, for a maximum brightness, it's not that bright, especially some of the other areas like floorboard and stuff, and especially depending on what color you have, it's more or less noticeable, you know. But yeah, so right in here, I like those flowing lines, but I wish they were a little bit brighter. It has the Infiniti name over here, illuminated. Steering wheel controls are good. Here's the screen, and that screen there. And let's go ahead and pull up the camera system here, because actually I got the brightness way too high. Let me turn the brightness down. So yeah, I have to turn the brightness really high just so you can see some of the lights, because it's not very bright. So when I turn the camera on, it's too bright. So that's, let's see, that's about, right there is about what it looks like to my eyes right there. So it's pretty bright. I can see all the way around the vehicle and no problem with the camera.
Same thing with the rear view camera. So now I gotta adjust the brightness again. This camera right here is not overly bright, and I can still see when there's cars in different places. Now, if it's like super dark, then you're not gonna see much, which you wouldn't normally see with a regular rear view mirror. Okay, so right in here we have some backlit buttons, but the cup holders are completely dark. Cell phone charger, completely dark, except for these two USB ports that are illuminated. Probably can't even see what I'm talking about. It's so dark in here. I'll turn on the light in a second because I want to show you one more thing. This this huge cool box, where it's also like a storage compartment, is also dark. So now let me turn on the interior lights. And even with the interior lights on, we can barely see in here. So yeah, it definitely needs a light. I'm surprised that it doesn't have a light. You know, some kind of accent light around the cup holders. You know, this isn't a cheap vehicle. So, and there's a lot cheaper vehicles, like, $25,000 vehicles that have a lot of stuff that this vehicle doesn't have. Very surprised. Glove compartment does have a light. Kind of surprised it has one at this point. It has a lot of pluses, but there's some really big misses, and it's almost like they didn't really give it much thought to the usability of the vehicle. It seems like the features that it does have is designed to sell and to promote on commercials and stuff, but the actual usability of the vehicle wasn't really tested, wasn't really thought about. Is what it seems like. Could be wrong. Maybe if you worked on this vehicle and you are a designer of the vehicle, let me know what's going on with this, why it is the way it is. So yeah, these lights up here, you can tap them individually and have a reading light. And luckily, all these are backlit, including the light to turn on the interior lights, unlike some vehicles. There is like an emergency roadside assistance button here. When you press it, it opens up this cover, and then it's the full bright light right there. Kind of neat. And the visor has a mirror with a light, which the light kind of shines right in my face, which I guess that's the intent. So yeah, that rear view camera is really good, and the camera system's good. I mean, let's go ahead and look at the navigation map here. Turn the brightness down once again. So even at nighttime, you can have the GPS, the full satellite imagery, which is really cool. But let's go ahead and look at the regular nighttime view here, which is basically going to match over here. But yeah, that satellite imagery is very impressive. In the second row, there is a green light that's just under the center console. It's easy to miss from other angles, but looking at it from this angle, you can see it. Here's what the climate control buttons look like back here in the back seat, second row. And here's this little screen, and with the interior lights on, it's a little bit of a glare, but especially on camera. But you can see you can control the climate, seat massage. So there's the climate there, which is basically redundant from that. That's easier to get to. And then you have the ventilated and heated seat controls here. And then you have seat adjustments, which is pretty cool. And then you can adjust the right one or the left one. Go back home, go over this way, seat massage. So we can turn that on. And we can adjust the right side. Let's go ahead and see if we can turn it on. Oh yeah, because I had the door open, it's not going to turn on and everything. Alright, there's settings, brightness, contrast, screen timeout. We're going to go ahead and set that to 10 minutes, I guess. But yeah, kind of interesting little screen. It looks like somebody just left an iPad sitting here, but it is actually a little screen to make adjustments to the seats and everything. In the settings, there is a category called Colored Ambient, and that is where you'll find the ambient color adjustments. Now you can turn on and off the front and rear independently from each other if you'd like to do that. You can also link it to the ProPilot system, so green and blue, going back and forth. Now the only issue with that is it's not going to be really visible during the day. The ambient lights in this vehicle are you really have to have a dark environment for you to even see them, even at maximum brightness. So it does have different categories for the colors here. So spring right here has pink cloud. Right now I have it on green, but let's go to pink cloud. You can see it transitions the color there. The next one is yellow sun. Has a slow transition to the next color. And then we saw the fresh green. Then it has Fuji flower. It's kind of like a real light purple. Really nice looking color. It's not very strong. See, the brightness, it really is the issue. It has a brightness setting here, but even at maximum brightness, it's kind of hard to tell. Only in the most extreme dark environments can you see the colors. Next one is summer. So you have green grass, yellow firefly, reflected blue. That looks really nice. And lilac flower. So similar colors as the spring. So the next one is autumn, and it has sunset red. That's nice. You can see that pop out a little bit more. And it has vermilion leaves. It's kind of like an orange. Ginkgo. And then orange down here. It's a different shade of orange apparently. Alright, so the next one is winter. And then you have winter frost, which is like an off-white, what it looks like. Camellia pink, kind of like a desaturated pink. And this is a light blue. It's called snow blue. That looks good. And then the ice gray, which looks a little green to me. Alright, so, and then at the bottom it says additional. So we can hit that, and then we can just basically customize across this color bar here what we want. So just kind of hit the one you want. There's like a hot pink in here, and that stands out a lot. So we'll go ahead and choose that, see what it looks like. And then I had it on a bright green before, but yeah, you have different transitions here. Go with a dark blue, that looks good. So yeah, you can kind of customize the color here, and then the brightness once again is down here. And you can, you know, bring it down quite a ways. So here's some footage of the dash cam, both front and back at night. See what it looks like. It does a decent job. It's just, of course, if there's not much light, then you're not going to see a whole lot. But it does give you, in the event of an accident or something like that, it gives you some kind of information there, which is very helpful. And a lot of dash cams, they'll have a flat profile, and that way you can get more detail out of a flat profile image than if you had like a high, you know, saturation or whatever. So that's why it kind of has that flat profile. It's just kind of a flat image. It doesn't have, it's not like colors aren't popping or anything like that. It's closer to like a black and white image, but it still has color, and that's for clarity. Okay, so I have the headlight pattern on a fence here, so you can see through it and you can see the actual pattern. So there's the high beams, there's the low beams. Now there's a little bit of a jaggedness right in here, which is supposed to be a little shadow that lines up with the oncoming lane. We'll see how that works. But yeah, it's I'm kind of interested, you know, because these look like they're very impressive headlights. You know, looking at them, it has the very sharp 4 basically dual projectors. But sometimes there are some disappointments with expensive vehicles for some reason. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the automatic high beams right now so we can stay focused on the low beams. So you can see that shadow is supposed to line up with the oncoming lane, but it also kind of gets on this lane a little bit. And it's not a razor sharp cutoff. As we noticed when I dipped the camera down, you can see that shadow's halfway on this lane and halfway on the other lane. So yeah, it's supposed to be all the way on the other lane on a straight road like this. Now, yeah, when I dipped the camera down, it was like, it was still bright, and then all of a sudden it got brighter. So the cutoff isn't razor sharp, which is not a big deal.
But it just kind of shows that a really bright light, a very bright light, has a really sharp cutoff. You can really tell. Now, it could be that this one, you know, they want to have a little bit of a blur between on the cutoff there and have a transition. But you can see the lights are they kind of bounce around a little bit. Yeah, it does appear to have the auto leveling function. So as I floor it, it looks like it pushed them down a little bit. It's basically just about the way all of them work, the auto leveling system. If you have a heavy load in the back, or if you floor it or something, it'll push them down. But as you're just driving, they're not going to stay level. They're going to bounce all over the place. Especially with a tall vehicle like this, you know. Okay, so hopefully there's not very many cars on this road. And check out the the high beams here. Yeah, okay, so the low beams aren't super impressive. They're okay, but not that great. Okay, now the high beam. Okay, so the high beams are good. That makes up for it right there. So yeah, let's bring it back down because of that car. But yeah, that was pretty impressive. The high beams are adding quite a bit of light and really kind of solving a lot of the problems that the low beams are having here. Okay, so yeah, the distance is good. There's not a lot of patchiness, and we can see on the sides of the road, I can see the trees in the distance. Yeah, because the trees are a little bit ways off the road, so this is a little bit more challenging than the average country road. But yeah, the low beams, not very impressive. They're okay, adequate. The high beams are actually pretty good. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. The trees in the distance. The road is illuminated nicely. You know, the distance down the road is good. So it just kind of eliminates that whole patchiness that we're seeing that's halfway on this side and halfway on the other side. The high beams just solve all those problems. But yeah, I wonder if it's just an alignment issue. Maybe the low beams need to be adjusted. But still, they just don't seem that impressive to me, the low beams. They're just kind of like, you know, any cheap vehicle would have low beams like this, really. And this is a very expensive vehicle. So yeah, there's a huge shadow in front of the vehicle right now. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I can barely, I mean, that's not good. I mean, the distance is horrible right now. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah. So yeah, the low beams pretty much on the, you know, middle grade to low end. I mean, they're not that bad, but I think mostly they just need to be adjusted. See, I don't know if you can tell. It's like maybe 100 feet in front of the vehicle is dark. It doesn't make any sense. But the high beams make up for it. So, but you can't drive around, you know, with your high beams on all the time, because you'll blind people. So you have to have decent, I mean, usually using your low beams because you're around other cars. So yeah, kind of disappointed here because $112,000 vehicle, and I shouldn't be that disappointed with the low beams. I shouldn't be that disappointed by not having puddle lights like $25,000 cars have, or you know, that kind of stuff. So, or illuminated cup holders, or ambient lights that have you know, the maximum brightness is basically the minimum brightness I would have them at. So yeah, there's some things about this vehicle that makes me question how much they actually put into it, how much thought they actually put into it as far as the nighttime usability, you know. There's some fancy features that make good commercials, but actually a person buying this and using it at night, I wonder how long they actually tested it as far as using it at night, because it seems like they would, you know, make some changes, you know, because and this is not just this vehicle. This is typical. This is why I do night videos, because you find out what the vehicle, what the designers emphasized. If they emphasize the user experience, or they emphasize the commercials and the ability to sell the vehicle, you know. So there's a couple things that makes me think that they just didn't put enough effort into it, you know. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments about this vehicle. $112,000. Okay, keep that in mind, and that's where I have to
take into account that this is not a cheap vehicle. If it was a cheaper vehicle, if it was like 50,000 or something, it's like, okay, you know, this is okay. But when you're talking about a $112,000 vehicle, you're like, okay, you know, during the day it's good, but at nighttime there's some things that are lacking for sure. And it might be a deal breaker for you. It might not have any bearing whatsoever on your decision. But let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.